Well, 1175 Lee Hill is a 31-unit apartment building for chronically homeless people. And it's of the Housing First model, which means we're taking people literally off the streets and giving them a place to stay with case management support.
I think everyone is entitled to a clean, safe place to live. And we have just taken 31 people who have been chronically homeless and given them a wonderful place to call home.
And it's permanent housing as opposed to some kind of temporary shelter where people work and try to work into some other permanent solution. This is a place where people can stay in perpetuity if they so choose and they abide by their lease agreements.
It will help the community as a whole because by housing people, you save approximately $30,000 a year of community-related expenses because you don't have to rely as much on the police or emergency health care or putting people in prison. So by giving homeless people a place to live, it actually saves the community money.
I think this project created impact in a number of ways. It dramatically impacted 31 people. We moved 31 people into this building in the matter of 5 days, and to watch the impact it had on those 31 people, to finally have a roof over their head for the first time, in some cases for more than a decade, was just really, really powerful. It was a great week. But I think it also has an impact on our community.
The North Boulder neighborhood was very concerned about Lee Hill. They didn't want another shelter in their backyard. And what we ended up doing was working very closely with them, and we created a good neighbor statement of operations to help them have input into how the building would be designed and operated on an ongoing basis. And on a quarterly basis, we have neighborhood meetings so that the neighborhood involvement is ongoing.
So we worked with a local architect, Humphreys Poley, and we chose Humphreys Poley because they had done a number of these projects before. They were familiar with the population and designing buildings for this population, designing healthy spaces for these folks coming off the streets, as well as aesthetically pleasing buildings that fit into neighborhoods really well. So we were very pleased with the results. We think the building integrates into the neighborhood well. It's very attractive, but also the spaces that were created for our clients, both individual and community spaces within the building, will lead to healing and stability.
So North Boulder has a very active arts community, and they have been trying to organize and get the local developers to help build and foster that arts community. And so Boulder Housing Partners got a grant, and we found a bunch of local artists, and we looked at various works. We had a little competition, and we selected the mural that's now on the building, which has a picture of a hot air balloon sort of rising, and we think it's really symbolic of people's lives improving.
But our hope is that the influence we will have is to show that this model, this kind of development works, and that we'll be able to do this again and again, maybe in Boulder, maybe in surrounding communities, but that this kind of housing for this population in this kind of neighborhood really works. And if we do this right, if we operate it well, if people are pleased with what happens, I think we'll be able to replicate it, and that's the real influence.